welcome to Two Balls and a Mic. We have another interview today. We might drop this a double interview day, or I don't know. But leading up to the USL announcing that on July 11th, we are going to have some soccer hopefully coming back. With that said, we do have the best position available on the soccer field. Mind if I say so? I am biased. But we have a goalkeeper from SD Loyal, the goalkeeper that started in that first match way back 5 years ago, Mr. Jake Fenlason. How's it going, Jake?
I'm doing well, guys. Thanks. That was awesome. Yeah, that first game was really cool. Really cool.
I mean, it feels like it was just eons ago where we were just there and it was the first game. Even the Copa del Este, the Este game, the pre-match one. But how have you been maintaining yourself over this quarantine, man?
Ooh, yeah. It's been obviously kind of hard because soccer is an outlet. There's been stressors all throughout this whole time. I mean, so many things have happened, and just this whole pandemic is a little anxiety. It comes up, and soccer is that kind of outlet to get away from those types of things, and not having that is hard. But I've tried to get my hand into like new things, and I've done a lot of reading, and I've kept myself fit. So it's actually been really a nice break too, to kind of get away from soccer and to be a little bit more, or to just analyze what's going on in my life and people around me's life as well.
Definitely, and I did see in a interview that you had with your former team in St. Louis that you like reading, and it's not necessarily typical of this day and age at this point. But what are some of the things you've been reading during this quarantine?
Yeah, so I've actually got into the beer scene a little bit, more about like the academic side of it, not necessarily like into the tasting and just getting just more into like nerding out about it. My sister-in-law is actually a sommelier.
Oh, okay.
On the wine side, and I was like, you know what, I like beer more than I like wine, so why don't I read up about this and try to better educate myself, so when I do get the opportunity to drink in the off season or on the occasional off day, that I can actually enjoy that rather than going into it blind and not enjoying it. So I've actually passed my first level on the road to becoming a Cicerone. It's a certified beer server, which is actually kind of cool. So I've been trying to be as productive as possible with that. So yeah, a lot of books about beer and making beer and all that, but also I read Ryan Holiday's Stillness is Key, which was a really cool book.
And that's more than most people read in an adult lifetime. That's two whole books.
True.
But that's great. And if there's anywhere to start doing that, it's San Diego, the craft beer capital of the world. So I think you're in a good place, and with with sponsors that SD Loyal has and some connections you might have a little inside information into some of the secrets. Is the goal for that making your own craft and just as a hobby, or what's the end goal for that?
Yeah, so I actually just made my first homebrew the other like a couple of weeks ago, so I got to try it last weekend, which was really cool. I made an IPA, a very bitter IPA with a lot of citrus and piney character, or like aroma and taste. It was actually, I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised I did that well on my first batch. So I'm hoping the second batch is just as good. But then also, like you said, this is the probably the best place to be in United States for craft brewery. And my sister-in-law actually started a podcast. We both did. We're co-hosts, and it's called Stay Tipsy. It's about the craft beverage scene in San Diego. We highlight wine, beer, cider, mead, and some distillery stuff. We're actually gonna shoot our 5th episode tomorrow.
Wow, that's awesome. That's
It's
awesome, man.
always fun
Yeah.
starting something like that.
Yeah, especially with my sister-in-law. Like we're very similar. Like we just like to do new things, and with the experience, to be able to experience that with her and like grow that type of relationship with my brother's probably my best friend, and to have extension of that, like where my sister-in-law can become my best friend, it's really cool. Family's like one of the most important things for me.
Definitely.
It
And
should be.
exactly.
Yeah.
So with the upcoming season already ready to return, how have you like prepared for it mentally, physically? Are you ready for the season to return?
Yeah, definitely ready. We did a whole bunch of Zoom workouts. I was fortunate that I had access to a private gym during this time, so I actually was able to put on a little bit more muscle mass, which was key. I'm a little bit on the smaller side when it comes to goalkeepers, so I've always been told, oh, you need to put on like this much more muscle, and to have that time off to really get after it in the gym was really cool. And I've already experienced it, the benefits of that, in these last couple of weeks, getting back onto the field with my teammates and everything. Mentally, I think the best thing was just try to get away from soccer for as long as possible, because I really just didn't want to think about not being able to play. So I just treated it as like another off season where I didn't touch the ball for a couple of weeks, and just got back into my mental habits of just being mindful, and trying to just be appreciative of being at home surrounded with loved ones, with family.
That's good, because it's a really tough situation that we're all pretty much in, and to be able to have that home time. There's a lot of people that don't necessarily have family at home, or work away from family, and that's tough. But if you do, take advantage of that time, and just hunker down, and it's a staycation with your family in a sense. But no, that's awesome, man. So in this time that you've been, like I said, pretty much bulking up, what differences have you noticed? I mean, let's get to it. I used to be a goalkeeper, and so I know that the trainings are a little bit different, than obviously an outdoor keeper. So what type of drills would you do at home to maintain yourself?
Yeah, I just focused primarily on explosiveness. I did a lot of deadlifts, squats, a lot of plyometric stuff, just to try to become a little bit more explosive in order to, get to those balls that I wouldn't necessarily been able to get to before. And then, the other issue is the height thing. So yeah, guys might be, or goalkeepers might be 6'4" or whatever, but if they can only jump maybe, they have a vert of 12 inches or whatever, like I can easily, bridge the gap of that if I can, extend my vert by that much more. So, yeah, I've been doing a lot of plyos, and I've really been focusing on my left foot, just doing a lot of passing drills with my left foot, and a little like intricate dribbling things just using my left foot, just trying to get it just as good as my right foot.
I like it. Have you had a chance to? I mean, I'm pretty sure you have. But has Landon gotten a couple shots on you? What's the ratio going? Because I mean, I'm pretty sure we know who scored on us, and we never forget. But who's winning that battle? More shots to save, misses. How's that going?
He actually doesn't. You'd be surprised. He doesn't really shoot that often. More often than not, it's a demo, and like he just pulls up before he hits it. I can't even remember the last time I faced a shot from him, to be honest. I don't even think I have, really. Not even like a penalty or anything. So
do you think you'd stop more than he'd make on you?
Oh, probably doubtful. He's class. He's still class. Like his touch is so good.
I'm actually curious. Walk me through. I've always wondered, like when your defender causes a penalty, I know you must be upset at the player, but when you're on that line and you're watching at the player taking the penalty, what do you usually do to try to distract the player, or what's your go-to when it comes to a penalty?
The biggest thing is like just being prepared before the game, like who might be their penalty takers. So then you at least get an idea of, who it might be, and then you're watching for little things while the game's going on. So last year while I was at St. Louis, I was fortunate that one of the guys who stepped up to take the penalty was um, he had one tendency that was just straight up, like you could read it as soon as he started his run up. And that was actually in the first game against Indy 11 last season. I saved a penalty. He just literally hit it in the spot that I knew he was going to hit it in. So a lot of it does have to do with, watching film and stuff, but a lot of it's just feel. And, there's not much that you can do to psych someone out without looking really, really, really weird. So I just try to, do my own job and worry about myself rather than trying to worry about the other guy.
Nice.
So I saw that you didn't necessarily start and wanted to be a goalkeeper when you began. Just kind of ended up there, and I know that very well too. Just kind of, you want to go in and score all the goals, and they're like, I think you'd be better over here, and sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong, and but at what point did you just, or I mean, it could be like an Mesut Ozil where he's like, oh, I'm good at soccer, I just don't necessarily like it. But at what point did you, if ever, find that point where you're like, wow, I actually really enjoy this. I'm good at this. Like, because it's just a certain freedom to do. I don't know, but did you have something like that?
Yeah. So when I first started, I was actually going to play up a year on the field, and my parents thought it'd be better to play with my own age group and just be one of the better kids in my age group, because I was a little bit on the smaller side. And so first couple of days of practice, one of the coaches at the club comes over to my coach and was like, hey, his brothers play goalkeeper, you should put him in the goal. And so from then on, like, I was always in the goal. Back then they didn't really do a rotation type thing. You had a set goalie. And for me, I was very fortunate because we only had one goalkeeper on our team throughout the 10 years I was at the club. So it was just me, and I got all these games. And I almost didn't want to, like, when I was U10, I just got over it as like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to play on the field. But by that time, like, all those players were so like far ahead of me technically on the field because they've been doing it for 2+ seasons that I didn't get to experience. So that transition just would have been way too hard, where I was just like, you know what, I should just stick with this. These are all my friends. I've been playing with them for 2 years. We were on a really, really good team. And, I actually liked, being with them. And we had to travel all over the place. We went to Oregon my second year, like at U9s. Oregon and Washington, we won every single game while we were out there. We went to Denver when I was U12. We were in Texas, went to Orlando for a Disney Cup. We actually got to go to England. So I think all those cool experiences just added up. And by the time I was a junior in high school, I was like, yeah, this is what I really want to do. Even though at the time I thought academically I could probably get into a better school than I could athletically, because I wasn't getting highly recruited at all. And then, I had to wait around. And my senior year, like March of my senior year, which is extremely late, the University of Akron came along and said, hey, like, you can walk onto our team if you want. I was like, oh, yes. Yeah, that's definitely happened. So that's where I ended up. And from there on, I was just like, yeah, I'm going to try to make this, try to make it as a professional, because the year before in 2010, I think they had 10 guys or 9 guys or something like that get drafted in the first round.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, if I'm going to be if I'm going to play soccer in college, I might as well do it the right way and go to the right place that's going to set me up to become a professional. So that's why I chose the University of Akron over some other schools that I probably could have got into on the academic side.
I mean, yeah, and it's interesting to say that because as far as wanting to play, and it's one of those things where people don't really think of, like, what's the position that plays the most? Goalkeeper.
Yeah,
because you really don't sub the goalkeeper. You mostly play the whole game. You're there. You have the best view in the house. Little things that us goalkeepers have as an advantage. Was there ever any type of usually we ask what's the best goal or what's this, but in your case as goalkeeper, can you give me the best save that you ever did? The one that just sticks out, that no one was there for, or it was just like a couple parents, or in a meaningless street game. Yeah.
Practice. I mean, we make good saves in practice all the time. I don't know. I mean, in high school, I kind of I was just on fire one day, and there was a ball coming across. It deflected off, shoulder of our center back, and like I had zero time to react. So the ball was like literally behind me, and somehow I managed to like move my shoulder out of the way and move back with this other, flick it around the post somehow. It was crazy. I don't know how it happened. It probably never happened ever again. But yeah, it was really cool. And then afterwards, I was just
I mean, yeah, me and Tony were actually there for the first official game of the season, and I mean, we know like the other team, Las Vegas Lights, they started off the game with a shot from midfield. To me, it's very hard to do in a professional. Can you hear me?
now I can, yeah.
There we go.
So to me, for Las Vegas Lights to start off with a shot from midfield, it's kind of odd. What was your your take on them shooting from midfield right off the bat?
Yeah, so I actually kind of like when he started running to the ball, I knew it was going to happen, so I dropped off a couple of feet, and normally it doesn't happen. I know like the guy touched it in order to make it go forward. So, but that was before the referee blew his whistle. So I was a little confused because even if it went into the goal, I don't know necessarily if it would have counted.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of anticipated a little bit with his run up. But then he goes on to do it like 4 minutes later from halfway, regardless.
Yeah. So I mean,
I tried. We were right behind. We were blowing. We tried our best, man, and we'll do better next time. It's on me. It's on me, man. I'm sorry. It's nothing on you, man.
So would you say that that's probably the best goal they scored on you, or have there been other goals that it's like crazy?
It's up there for one of the best goals. And the like the hard part about that is like I believe like that I was actually in a very, very good position for a ball over the top, because if you remember in the play, there's a runner who's running on the outside shoulder of one of our center backs in behind. Mm-hmm. So the more likely thing for him to do is to play that ball over the top, so that being what we want to do as a goalkeepers for this team is to play a little bit higher in order to give our center back the ability to press onto other forwards. But the issue was the guy's obviously very technical, like very able to do what he did. And I started backpedaling as soon as I saw him take the run up to hit it. And that I don't think I would have saved it even if I was 2-3 yards further back. So it was just unbelievable. But yeah, other goals. There was a scrimmage that we had against Columbus Crew when I was in college, when Kai Kamara played for them, and it was like that bicycle kick that Ronaldo scored.
Oh, jeez,
man,
it was always staying a little more.
It was one of the most filthiest things I've ever seen. Like his foot got maybe 4 or 5 feet like higher than anyone else's head. So it was nuts. It was an amazing goal, and he put so much power on it that I had absolutely no chance.
Yeah, and those are just the ones that you just have to either look at and this is something I was talking with Chiva the other day as far as like goalkeepers. Like there's sometimes that we just know there's no way, there's absolutely no way we're gonna even reach it, but we dived, one, so we don't get crapped on in training, two, to make it look nicer. Because honestly, like if it deserves it, like I'll go for it and make the picture better. But yeah, I mean, in that game too, man, we had in the second half, we were saved by that post, that left post. Something else I discussed with them is that, you know, I'm very superstitious as far as my position as a goalkeeper, and you know, I always thank the post gods as a goalkeeper, because the post gods, it can either bounce in your favor or against you. It can be go in or go out. Do you have any
Yeah.
type of superstitions like that?
Not really. You know, like you said, sometimes the push is your best friend, and then other days, you know, the ball goes off the post and ricochets back and hits you in the head. So, you know, there's always those two dynamics. And luckily, I haven't experienced many issues with the post. But superstitions, I don't think I have many. You know, I do the normal thing most people do. They, you know, put their boots on in a certain order. Like I'll put on my left sock, then my right sock, then my left boot, then my right boot. Same with gloves. Like I'll put on my left one before I put on my right one. I think it's just easier to put on gloves that way. So nothing really superstitious. I think just habits that, you know, I've been playing for, you know, upwards of 20 years now that they've just, you know, developed themselves.
Yeah, and as a goalkeeper, you got to be very vocal, especially with your defensive line. So when you started goalkeeping, were you always really vocal, or is it something that you kind of like had to get better at as you were growing up, or were you always just kind of like that, just that loud person on the field?
Yeah, I'm actually extremely introverted. So I'm a little bit on the shyer side. I hate my voice. So I actually had to grow into that position where, um, you know, my voice is absolutely needed. It's like being a quarterback. Um, I see literally everything, so I need to be able to say all that stuff. I didn't really get into the habit of talking until, you know, maybe right before I went to high school. Um, yeah, and then when I went to England, a couple of the coaches over there were like, "Yeah, dude, you're a really good shot stopper, pretty good with your feet. You know, you just need to be a little bit more vocal." And I think that hit a little bit more home because
Mm-hmm.
of who was talking to, like the guys from Liverpool Academy and Chelsea Academy, like, you know, you can play at a very high level if you just use your voice, because you need to be heard. You need to be more vocal, especially in practices and stuff.
If
Yeah.
that's 100% true. I used to be shy. Like I don't know these guys. Like how am I gonna, you know, I don't really know. Why am I gonna yell at them? Like, you know, but no, you do get into that rhythm, and it's just like a switch where, you know, um, you're just in the zone, and once you get on that field, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And you know, that's awesome that, you know, you were able to work on that craft. And that's not a lot of, that's just something that not a lot of people think that you can practice on and need to work on the soccer field. You know, just like you said, like a quarterback needs that cadence, needs to be that general. The goalkeeper is a general of the defense. Like you need, you have eyes where no one else has eyes, and you see things play out. But as far as on Loyal, I know that, you know, there's, you guys have a couple good goalkeepers on there. How's that dynamic going? How's that chemistry going between you guys? Because again, you don't really always practice with the outfield players. It's always kind of like the goalkeeper trainings, and that's just kind of like your own little pod of weird guys, quote unquote.
Yeah, I mean, we have a pretty good, you know, goalkeeping group. You know, with the three of us, and then we have a really good goalkeeping coach. I think he's probably one of the better, uh, um, if not best goalkeeping coaches in San Diego, with Matt Hall. And that dynamics, obviously, it's very competitive. We support each other, and we understand that at the end of the day, it is competition, and one person's going to play, but the other two are going to be left out. So say it, but at the same time, it's a very supportive group too. So
And actually, I did speak a little bit on with the goalkeeping coach. I'm like, hey, one of these days, just, I'll hop in there and see if I can get some training and get some of this rust off. I mean, I came out of retirement not too long ago, Jake, and I'm not gonna lie, I might be coming for you guys' job.
I hope not, please. I like being here in San Diego. It's way better than St. Louis. I froze my butt off last year. It snowed up until pretty much May. So I like it here. So allow me to keep my job, please.
Okay, I will. I'll be third string. We're good.
All right, cool.
So as a goalkeeper, I feel like that relationship you need to have with your center back is key. Because it's kind of like the communication between you and center back talking to the other players. So how's that relationship with Joe? Is it Greenspan?
Yeah, Joe Greenspan.
How's the relationship with Joe? Like
Joe.
when it comes to talking or being on the same page when it comes to the defense?
Yeah, I mean Joe's very vocal as well. So I think the biggest issue is just getting onto the same page as him with our vocal cues and what we expect with other people around him. We have a pretty good rapport. We've been around each other since January, which might not seem that long, but in the soccer world, it is pretty long. And we're close off the field. I mean, we talk all the time. He's very smart, a very smart guy. So we have pretty, high quality conversations about economics. I mean, today we were talking about politics and all those things. So I think just having a rapport with him off the field makes the on the field, chemistry a little bit easier to manage because we both see where each other's coming from just like a basic human level. Same with outside backs and outside center backs. It's the same thing. You have to know them on a general basis before you can talk to them about soccer. Even though soccer is what you're there to do, you need to know them just as well off the field.
And it seems like you guys have that great chemistry, and what I like about the players that SC Loyal has is we've had the fortune of talking with Zizzo, Jake, Jack Metcalf, and everybody seems to have that a good intellectual or some sort of life outside of soccer. Where usually sometimes you see athletes and they're 100% soccer all the time, and great if you're the greatest of all time, great, do that, but there's needs to be a little bit more facets to you, and it's great to hear that you have that dynamic to you as far as and the team itself is we don't just discuss soccer all the time. It's we're more than that. We're people, and I think that's what people can see here, and I hope you guys can feel the love as far as what the San Diego has done for supporters wise, because the locals have been doing a great job. Shout out to them. So far, I mean, in your time as a SC Loyal player, what's been your favorite thing here in San Diego? Back.
Well, I mean, my favorite thing is just being able to represent my hometown. I think that's the coolest thing in the world. Not a lot of people get to experience that. And then, the great relationships that we have with, Stone, like that first event that we had, the kit revealing, I've been a professional now for 5 years. That was the best event that I've been around. And, St. Louis is or they say that they have one of the best fan groups in the whole country, MLS down, and that trumped whatever St. Louis did, just because it was one of the coolest, just one of the coolest events, especially with what Stone means to the city of San Diego. Yeah, it was just phenomenal. So I think the whole city is getting behind us now, especially with what we did with with Radies, and it's just a cool experience, just being able to give back, and just to be able to be on the field, playing for you guys. That's the biggest thing. It's the biggest takeaway.
And like I said, you can really sense that with the way how hard you guys play on the field, and everybody's reaction post that first game, as far as wanting to get that first real W. Some teams would have been fine, some players would have been fine with a tie to open, but Loyal came out and refused to lose that game, and came back and with the Tacoma game, and get that first W. And like I said, it's really great, and it's really great to have San Diegans and locals that haven't had anything here to come and bring soccer to an area that we feel is soccer crazy and has always been a soccer hotbed. But to bring that here must be something really special.
Mm-hmm.
So in that kit reveal party, we had no idea what they would look like, what the kits would look like.
Yeah.
Take us through your reaction when you first saw. Well, first of all, what's your favorite of the Gargoyles? I think I know. But what was your reaction when you actually laid eyes on that kit?
Yeah, I like the green one. I think the green one's the coolest one. It's weird because it's got like a tan or like beige stripe through it too. So I like that one. We actually got to see them, not in person, but like on a screen. And we were like, whoa, these things are sick. Like, these things are awesome. And that's what our marketing person said, like the first time that she told us. She's like, look, these jerseys are really cool. I made sure that I made the best jerseys possible, and you guys are going to stand out, and you guys are going to be kitted out like no one else in the league. So yeah, I like the green one. I'm a little bit biased towards that one, and then the purple one and the yellow one are both equally as good, but I think I look better in green.
And they're giving just so much love to the goalkeepers. Like outfield players have no idea how hard it is to just not have the love and that admiration, to be the villain. Because if we make 12 stops, that's great. But if we make the one great goal that went through and we lose 1-0,
Mm-hmm.
the blame is completely on the goalkeeper. It's not fair.
Has anybody on the team kind of complained or said oh, how come the goalkeeper jerseys are a little more cool, I guess?
Yeah, a little bit. They're like, why do
Good,
you
let
guys
them
get to be all special? Like, you guys have a gargoyle on your shirt, whereas we have just Stone Brewing. And I was like, well, first of all, like, just being sponsored by them is the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, it is.
And we're so lucky to have that partnership with them. I don't think a lot of guys understand that because they're not from here, but the guys who are from here, the local guys, are like, how did they get this partnership? Like, seriously, how did they do it?
Yeah.
But then, like, the ethos of that company exactly represents the goalkeeping position, to ward out evil spirits, and to make sure that to pretty much, you're the protector of the net. The gargoyle for them is the protector of their beer, and it's just aligned. So I think it's perfect, and it's honestly really cool to be able to represent them as well.
So other than Stone Brewery, where have you taken, or have you taken anybody around town, any restaurants? Like what parts of San Diego is like the go-to first destination? You're like, hey, I got to show you this.
I'm from the North County, so I'm up in like the RB area, Rancho Bernardo area. So I always say there's a lot of cool things up here that a lot of people forget about. Like there's wine country up in Escondido. There's a lot of cool breweries up in Vista. Escondido has Stone's um, main brewing facility, which is cool. That place is unbelievable. Um, but my personal favorite is just going on to Coronado Island and going to see the Hotel Del, just because of the history of the building, and it's pretty much our main landmark outside of the Torrey pines,
Mm-hmm.
the actual pine trees. And I mean, you also have that bridge. You have the Coronado Bridge, which is really, really cool. And let's see, restaurants. That's a Sal question. I mean, Sal pretty much owns all of
Yeah.
Little Italy, so
He did have a couple of good recommendations.
Yeah.
yeah. It's for me. It's just it's a bit of a trek to get down into that area. So I like my little local area up here in the North County a little bit more.
I'm curious. I don't know if up in the north of San Diego. I mean, one of the most, I guess, same famous Mexican foods in San Diego are known for their carne asada fries. I don't know if you ever tried them, or
Oh yeah,
have you showed it to anyone in the team that's never tried them?
Oh, that's the first thing that we say is like, hey, go have some carne asada fries or California burrito. First thing,
Right.
you need to have them.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like that, and then like a lot of guys are from out of state or not from the West Coast, so it's like, okay, go have California burrito. Second thing, go have some In-N-Out, like
That's right.
Yes.
back to back.
Yep.
Yes. You're doing you're wow. I mean, beyond soccer, beyond the field, man. You're
blessing your teammates, man.
Yeah, you're hooking them up. I mean, and San Diego life, just there's just so many aspects to it. Like say, there's the brewery life, there's just going Coronado Island and chilling at the beach and just different things like that.
Balboa.
And then what I guess there it goes.
There goes your train of thought.
There was a train. There it goes. Choo choo. I'm sorry. No, but we'll just go on to the other question I was going to ask. As far as in the team, who would you say is like the funniest one, or the one that always has that perfect joke, or just
like the class clown?
Yeah.
No, it's Jack and Charlie. So Jack Metcalf and Charlie Adams both. When they argue, it's easily the funniest thing, because they're both coming from complete opposite directions and are unwilling to
and we have a helicopter going up right above our house.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. And then that accent is, yeah, the accent is just unbelievable. Some word choices that they use, like they say mate and lad like every other word, so it's just funny.
Yeah, I mean, Jack did let us know that we asked him a question about if he could do like a movie or anything like that. He said he could pull off being 007. So, I mean,
which Sal said absolutely not. Like he just like shut it down. He's like, what? He said that? No. But I mean, if there was a movie that you think, or
I don't necessarily see that.
He's in his own world, man, Jack.
Is there a role that, I mean, you have seen that you can look and say, you know what, it would be really cool, I could pull that off, like Adam Sandler movie or any type of
Netflix series, anything?
Oh. Ooh. I don't know, maybe Nicolas Cage from National Treasure. Just because like that's the type of thing I'm into. I was a history and political science major in college. A lot of my reading is just based on that type of stuff, on history and whatnot. Like I just finished a book last month that was over 1,000 pages about Benjamin Franklin. So I think it kind of correlates to that movie.
Yeah,
That's a good answer.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. So I figured out the question that I had earlier.
Oh, cool.
Jeez. I mean, being from a native here in San Diego, there's a lot of aspects. Going down the same hole, the same track.
Mhm.
Are you a Padres fan? Were you a San Diego Chargers fan? Are you a Gulls fan? A Sockers fan? Is there any? What's your sports intake as far as other than soccer?
Yeah, big Padres fan. I grew up playing baseball. I was growing up. I was what, 5 or 6 years old when we made it to the World Series in '98.
Yes.
But I still remember playing, PlayStation games with the Padres. Like Cuvio Veras was the second baseman, Venito Santiago, Andy Ashby, Kevin Brown, Tony Gwynn, King Caminetti, all those guys, all the way up. And then, growing up in the 2000s, like my favorite player was Cleo Green,
Yes.
big King, Brian Klesko fan.
Ryan
And,
Klesko's the man.
I'm forgetting about the best player though, Trevor Hoffman too. So,
Oh, absolutely.
just like
Hoffer.
all these guys, Marcotte. There's just so many Padres that I grew up watching, and I, for a very long time I thought I was going to be a baseball player. I actually played in high school, up here in RB for a little bit, and had a very good freshman year. And I was just like, you know what? Like I like soccer a little bit better. I'm going to play that. So, yeah, big Padres fan, Chargers fan until they moved. Been to a couple of Gulls games. Need to go back when they get back into it. San Diego Sockers. My club coach was actually the coach for the San Diego Sockers, and is an absolute legend for them. Brian Quinn. So all of these teams I have little connections to, and San Diego, I got to support my local team, all of my local teams.
Absolutely. Do you like the Brown? Or for the
The who?
Padres? The Brown?
Oh,
and
the
gold for the
Brown.
Padres?
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, their old time jerseys are way better than their newer ones. When they came out with like the sand and navy blue, I was like, oh, what is this?
Yeah. Dodgers light.
I do.
call them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and on Sundays when they have home games, they do the military appreciation, which I think is very unique. Not many other teams do that, especially since we have a big Navy presence, and Camp Pendleton's only, it's less than 50 miles away up in Oceanside. So we have a big military contingent out here. We actually have a person from the military on our team with Joe. So I think the Padres do a fantastic job with, showing their appreciation for the people who defend this country. And I think we were going to do very similar things from what it sounds like when we get back onto the field.
Well, I'm imagining a military kit for the loyal.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Pretty great.
But yeah, that would be really cool. We were saying like Navy, it's got to be the Navy.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Of
Joe's
course.
in the NATO. That'd just be easiest thing to do.
So I mean, who would you say? I mean, I know you're into the brewing and cutting off there a little bit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. Yeah.
All right, cool. I know you're into the whole like the beer industry and all that. Who would be 2 players that you would take from the team that I would say share the same passion
Or help you out.
or help you out like for brewing?
Even as testers.
Help you out. Ooh. That's a good question. I think Joe would be pretty good at it, just because he has the discipline levels of, as a Navy, or a person who went to Navy and is part of the Navy. Like he'd have the right discipline levels to do it correctly. I don't necessarily know if he drinks all that much. I got a big airplane coming. While we're talking about the Air Force and the Navy, so yeah, I think Joe would probably be one of them. And then I know a lot of guys like tequila and stuff like that. I don't know necessarily if that would translate over to beer. I'd probably say Austin's probably another one. He's one of the other goalkeepers that we have. He's not only is he a clown, like he's one of the funniest guys, but he's pretty into the whole brewing type thing, or breweries and stuff too.
And have you? I mean, with the tequila, I mean, it's a little bit more Spanish involved in there. And if you're a native here from San Diego, do you communicate with any of the Spanish speakers in Spanish? Maybe like a Yair who's completely Spanish. How does that go? Maybe with a Yair, or do you know some Spanish? Do you throw some in there?
I know a little bit, not enough, not nearly enough. I mean, I took it for two years in college and lost all of it when I moved down to Orlando. So it's kind of frustrating because I know if I would have came back here, I still would have had most of it. I know some words, so it's kind of easier for me to talk to them rather than people who like don't know any Spanish at all. But Yair is doing a really, really good job of learning English. So when we have conversations, he does a really good job of trying to speak in English. And then, he'll have, if he's stuck on a word, he'll ask somebody like, como se dice, like this in English type thing, where he's looking for that word that's kind of lost in translation. So, I have to give him and Beverly credit. They're doing a really good job of trying to integrate themselves into the team by learning the language, because that language barrier is very, very hard.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of sports and soccer in general. I feel like for players, it's really easy once you move to a different country. I feel like you adapt the language, and few months, maybe a year.
Yeah, and then you can pretty much you can play like this. Yair didn't speak a lick of English when he came in. We spoke to him when we played against Costa del Este, and I'm sure like he's a walking dictionary right by now, especially after this quarantine.
Yeah.
But no, like you don't communicate necessarily verbally. You just communicate through soccer. Like that's the language, and that's something that's always been just so beautiful that I felt, and part of just what makes this the beautiful game.
Yeah, soccer is definitely a language in and of itself, and it's what makes it so transferable over different countries. Is the ball and the feet do all of the work, and it's not necessarily what language you speak or anything like that. It's just the same sport all over the place. But on top of that, the club's doing a really good job of making sure those two are comfortable and getting the right the right education too. Like they're making them do their Duolingo, and they've gotten them translators and coaches. So the club's doing fantastic work for them. I know other clubs that I played for in the past just allowed their players just to speak Spanish, and they would just have a guy translate for them. And they were there for 3 or 4 years, and it's like you should have been learning this for that time. But the club's doing these two a very big service by getting them into this language. And I mean, learning this language allows them to go back to their countries if they wish and do more. So it's huge for them, and it's a really cool experience. I think both of them are appreciating it as well.
Yeah. It's a win-win across the board. And just like we told them, hey, if you ever need some help, we can help you. We speak a little Spanish. If you ever want to learn a little bit more Spanish,
a little
Jake,
Spanish,
you let us know. Hablamos poquito español. But a couple more questions to wrap it up. We were discussing, Jake, on our last episode, a couple of the best goalkeepers.
I'm glad you brought this up.
Absolutely. Currently, obviously, after Jake Fenlason, top 5 goalkeepers in the world.
Currently, right now, playing.
Currently, right now, probably Neuer, Alisson, Ter Stegen, Oblak, I want to say De Gea, but I don't think De Gea is doing enough currently.
Okay.
Which makes that last one a little bit harder.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I would like to throw names out, but
Hold on.
Okay.
Let him say the
Okay.
last one if
Okay.
you can.
I'm missing one from the EPL.
Interesting. EPL.
I mean,
So you said Allison from the EPL.
Yeah. No, Buffon's probably up there still.
Still, I mean,
like
honestly,
him.
after the save,
Or Chesney.
Chesney from
Exactly, yeah.
Juventus, and if you have a chance right now after the interview, if you want to go back and look at that Coppa Italia final, in the 90th minute, there was a double save by Gianluigi Buffon. Classic
last corner kick of
Buffon.
the game.
Amazing.
All right. The reason we brought this up is because we had a big argument. Tony put Courtois on his top 5, and I didn't. And to me, Courtois may be top 10. So, I mean, the fact that you agreed with me and not put Courtois in your top 5 says that I know more about goalkeepers than Tony.
Look, Jake,
I
he didn't even mention
Navas
Oblak.
did a little bit more.
Yes, I did.
Oh, yeah. Oblak is up there for sure. He's probably one of the best shot stoppers in the world. He is the best shot stopper in the world, but his feet aren't on par as, Ter Stegen and Neuer. But both of them are just class with their feet. Same with Allison, like both of them. A lot of people put Ederson up there, but it's like the opposite with Oblak, right? Oblak is really good shot stopper. Ederson's probably the best goalkeeper with his feet. So it's, but I don't think Ederson's one of the best shots. Like, I think he's above average shot stopper for the EPL. So it's kind of one of those trade-offs. For Manchester City, fits in perfectly because he, brings so much more to their game by getting them out of pressure and by, hitting those balls on goal kicks. It allows them to maintain possession when, people want to press them. So it obviously for Man City, he's probably the best goalkeeper for them. And same with Atletico. Atletico with Oblak. Oblak doesn't necessarily need to be good with his feet because they're a very counter-pressing oriented team. So,
and a little follow up with that, I just thought of it because rule change that just happened recently that I don't like is that rule where you can now take a goal kick and the player doesn't have to be outside the box to receive it, or then it becomes an indirect free kick. How do you like that new rule that you can now do that?
I actually like it just because it gets rid of the wasting time thing. I know City was doing it quite a bit the last 2 years where like if they were winning and they wanted to milk some time off the clock, they would just come into the box and hit it back to the goalkeeper, and obviously that's a foul goal kick. Yeah. So it takes a couple of seconds off the clock, if not a minute if you're doing it a couple of times during the game. So I actually like that. It also opens up, you can do more playing out rather than just hitting the ball long and hoping for a second ball. Allows the goalkeeper to have more control over the play and the build out. And I just think it opens up the field, especially if you have a good goalkeeper who's good enough with his feet to, pick out some long balls.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
VAR or no VAR?
Not really a big fan of VAR. It slows down the tempo of the game.
Definitely. Exactly. Thank you, Jake. That just made up for whatever list you had of goalkeepers that, no, I'm kidding. But yeah, finally, Jake, again, we're prepping for the restart of the USL, restart of SD Loyal. You guys have been hard at work practicing at the Olympic Training Center, and
we're hoping we're going to be able to.
Yeah, we hope to be there covering, just in the stands, just chanting. It'll be 2 of us, 6 feet apart. But what is something you want to tell every San Diego Loyal fan or potential San Diego Loyal fan out there about this restart of the season, what you guys are doing to prepare in general, or anything else that you want to let everybody know?
Yeah, we're just putting a lot of hard work in, and we're currently in first place. So,
right.
I don't know if those standings or anything are going to hold or what they're doing with the season. But the biggest thing is just support us, even if you can't be there. Watch our games, retweet. Have a bigger social media presence about the team. Get get our names out there to more people, and the more people that we can, bring under our umbrella, the more change and, greater societal effects that we can have in our community. Like the more money we can probably donate to Radies, like the more things that we can do to uplift this community. I see it from that way more than, the actual product on the field. Because I think the product's obviously just going to be there naturally because of the guys we have on the team. But the fans, if we get more fans out there, we can support the community a little bit more and bring this, beautiful soccer, this beautiful game to a lot more people.
I love it, man.
Yep.
I love it, man. That's what it's all about. And you can really tell that there's love put into this on both sides, and we're here to build it together. And again, we were talking to the local supporters group the other day, and just saying, hey, it's crazy that it seems like Laurel's been around forever, but at the same time, it's like it hasn't been here forever at all. But the amount of work everybody's been putting in, and the community work that you as a player group and in general the front office has been keeping everybody in the loop. You guys have been doing a phenomenal job. Thank you, Jake, for your time. Really appreciate it, and we really hope to see you out there when we can. And again, thank you for giving us a little bit of time, and shout out to all goalkeepers out there, because the best position. Straight up.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. You guys are awesome.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Take it easy.